Ethan Hale had been inside the Imperial Hall of Zyther for less than 5 minutes when he realized he had made a terrible mistake. He had been invited not as a diplomat, not as a soldier, not even as a scientist. He came as a witness, a representative of an emerging alliance between the humans of Earth and the ancient star-faring Zytherans that alone should have meant a seat quietly at the edge of the hall. But fate had different plans. The Hall of Aura shimmered with shifting light and effect, produced by the energy-infused stone that lined the walls. The Zytherans called it cryin, a mineral that responded to emotions, intentions, and even biological energy. Ethan watched as colors rolled across the walls like slow tides, turquoise for calm, gold for respect, violet for grief. But today the walls swirled with deep indigo, the color of fear. Princess Seraphine, first daughter of the Zytheran sovereign, lay on an obsidian platform at the center of the room. Her skin, normally luminous with swirling bioluminescent lines, had gone pale and cracked like fading starlight. Ethan had read about the princess in the Alliance briefings. Prodigy diplomat, key to peace between Earth and Zyther, and now she was dying. The royal healers hovered around. Her high priests chanted. A group of armored royal guards surrounded the platform with their plasma spears lowered. Meanwhile, King Va, a towering figure in ceremonial obsidian armor, clenched his fists in helpless rage. She fades faster, whispered. High healer Emirin, the venom is unlike anything we've seen. Venom, Ethan thought. From what he had arrived late, because the shuttle that brought the human delegation from orbit experienced a power glitch. He had missed the attack entirely. The only thing he knew was that Seraphine had been poisoned by an unknown assassin during a peace ceremony. The hall buzzed with panic, distrust, and grief. And then quite abruptly everything went still. A faint gasp came from the princess. Her breathing slowed, then slowed further. The high healers exchanged looks of despair. It is too late, one said softly. The heir to the throne is gone. King Va's roar shook Ethan's bones, but before the king could demand retribution, Seraphine's hand slipped off the platform, falling limply toward the floor. Instinct took over before any royal guard could move. Ethan stepped forward and caught her hand to prevent it from hitting the ground. Gasps exploded through the hall. Multiple guards raised their weapons at him. The king's eyes widened in fury. A dozen alien nobles hissed, unable to decide if they were shocked or outraged. Human, one shouted, do not touch the princess. But Ethan barely heard them, because the moment his skin made contact with hers, her cracked bioluminescent lines flickered, then glowed, then surged. What is this? Cried High Healer. Emeron. Seraphine's chest rose sharply with a sudden breath, a breath she shouldn't have been able to take. The guards froze. The king took a single step forward. Disbelief etched across his face. The dying princess, who seconds ago had no pulse, was healing right there in Ethan's hands. Middle the impossible healing. A violent burst of silver blue light erupted from Seraphine's body, sweeping across the hall like a silent thunderwave. Ethan staggered, but didn't let go. The light didn't burn him. It felt warm, like sunlight hitting cold skin. The Zytherans shielded their eyes. The priests fell to their knees. And then, as the light settled, the princess opened her eyes. Those luminous silver irises locked onto Ethan's face as she inhaled with steady, strong breaths. What happened? She whispered. A burst of terrified whispers erupted from the court. He healed her. Impossible. Humans do not carry that ability. This breaks every known law of Zytheran biology. Sees him. He could be a weapon planted by Earth. Weapons pointed at Ethan from all directions. He raised his hands slowly. Wait, please. I didn't do anything. She was falling, and I just helped. King Va stepped forward, eyes burning with a mixture of panic and terrified awe. You touched her, he said, and she returned from death's edge. Seraphine slowly sat up, still holding on to Ethan's wrist. Father. His touch stabilized the decay waves. The venom was nullified. A wave of murmur rippled through the crowd, for Zytheran's energy signatures mattered more than blood type or DNA. Their bodies absorbed and exchanged energy in ways humans barely understood. But healing touch triggered healing that should have been impossible. High Healer Amrian leaned over Seraphine, scanning her with a crystalline device. The healer's jaw dropped. Her life energy has not only stabilized it, has strengthened beyond baseline. This is unprecedented. King Va looked at Ethan again. This time not with anger, but with fear. You, he said slowly, may have just saved the future of our world, or destroyed the balance of everything we know. A secret revealed. Ethan was escorted, more like forcibly guided into the chamber of lineage, a private room behind the throne. Only the highest nobles and the princess accompanied him. Seraphine, now fully awake and glowing with restored vitality, stepped closer to him. Why did your touch restore me? She asked softly. I don't know, Ethan replied. Honestly, humans don't have healing powers. Seraphine exchanged a glance with the high healer. Amaran bowed slightly. Your Majesty, we have long believed humans lacked the genetic resonance needed to interface with our energy systems. King Va crossed his arms. And we were wrong, the healer said. The king's jaw tightened. Seraphine pointed to Ethan's wrist, where faint glowing lines pulsed, the same bioluminescent pattern that ran through her own skin. Ethan stared. What is that? A resonance imprint. The healer explained. It means your energy core synchronized with hers. Ethan blinked. Humans don't have energy cores. You do, Seraphine corrected gently. Just dormant ones, or so we believed. The king exhaled slowly. Human, did you ever have unexplained symptoms? Strange warmth, light sensitivity, unusual dreams? Ethan hesitated. Yes. All his life he had felt surges of warmth in stressful situations. Doctors said it was adrenaline. He believed them. But suddenly those explanations felt shallow. Sarah approached him closely, not romantically, but curiously, like a scholar observing an anomaly. Your touch did not heal me randomly, she said. Your energy matched mine exactly, as if you were born capable of restoring Zytheran life. Ethan swallowed. What does that even mean? King Va answered. It means you might be the first human in recorded history with Zytheran resonance. And someone attempted to kill my daughter, specifically to expose that fact. The assassin's plan. The royal council gathered late into the night analyzing the attack. The venom used on the princess was synthesized from a forbidden creature, the Virexian shade serpent, whose toxins destroyed life. Energy bonds inside Zytherans. Only one thing could counteract it, a perfect external resonance, but no Zytheran had ever produced one strong enough, which meant the assassin must have known a human could. Ethan paced. So someone poisoned the princess, expecting me to fix it. Seraphine shook her head. No, they expected you to fail. King Va growled. If you failed, Earth would have been blamed for her death. The alliance would have shattered. War would have followed. Ethan's stomach sank. The assassin wanted a war between Earth and Zyther, and you, Seraphine added, were the perfect scapegoat. A deadly silence filled the chamber. Then Amaran stepped toward Ethan, holding a crystalline scanner. We must test your resonance further. The scanner glowed as it hovered above his chest. The healer's eyes widened. This can't be. What now? Ethan asked. Exhausted. Amaran slowly lowered the device. You don't just possess resonance. You possess prime resonance potential, something believed to exist only in ancient Zytheran myths. Seraphine whispered the name. Etherbound. The king stiffened. The nobles gasped. Even the guards stepped back. Ethan blinked. The what now? Seraphine explained. Legend speaks of a being, sometimes Zytheran, sometimes foreign-born, with the ability to stabilize or even rewrite the life energy of others, a unifying force, meant to appear when our civilization stands at a crossroads. Ethan rubbed his temples. You think I'm that? Am I? Nodded. I think the assassin thinks you are, and wants you dead. Ethan groaned. Well, that's just great. By dawn, the entire palace buzzed with rumors. A human healed the princess. A human carries ancient power. A human might be the key to the kingdom's survival or its destruction. The reactions were chaotic. Some nobles bowed to Ethan, calling him the Etherbound one. Others demanded he be imprisoned for safety, claiming his power might destabilize the throne. A radical political faction, the Pure Blood Syndicate, declared him a threat that needed to be eliminated immediately. Seraphine stood before the council and silenced them with a single command. Enough. Ethan Hale saved my life. I will not allow political fear to dictate his fate. The king backed her. He is now under royal protection until we uncover the assassin. He stays inside the palace. Ethan sighed. So I'm a political prisoner. Seraphine shook her head. A protected guest, protected by guards who want to stab me in time, she said with calm conviction. They will understand. That night Ethan wasn't allowed to sleep. Guards surrounded his assigned chambers, but even with the extra security, something felt off. A cold whisper of air passed through the room. Then a shadow flickered. Ethan barely dodged as a crystalline blade slashed past his head. A hooded figure with glowing red eyes lunged at him with terrifying speed. Ethan stumbled backward. The assassin hissed, "You should have died when she did." A blast of blue energy flashed. Seraphine burst into the room, her aura blazing like a storm. Step away from him, the assassin darted toward. Her blade raised. Ethan didn't think. He reached out, his hand brushed Seraphine's shoulder. A pulse of silver energy erupted from her, 10 times stronger than before, fueled by the stabilizing resonance. His touch triggered. The assassin was flung backward, smashing into the wall. Guards stormed in and subdued the attacker. Seraphine stared at Ethan, stunned. "You amplified my energy output." Without meaning to, Ethan gulped. "Sorry." She smiled faintly, not romantically but with newfound understanding. "This is bigger than we thought." The assassin was unmasked. A high-ranking Zytheran noble aligned with the Pure Blood Syndicate under interrogation. The truth emerged. They believed Ethan's existence proved Zytherans were losing their purity. They wanted to provoke a war to prevent humans and Zytherans from ever cooperating or intermixing genetically or culturally. "Your healing proved them wrong," Seraphine said. "It showed that humans and Zytherans can strengthen each other, not weaken." Ethan exhaled. "So what happens now?" King Va approached him slowly. "Human Ethan Hale. By ancient law, anyone who triggers a prime resonance bond with the royal line must choose one of 2 paths." Ethan tensed. What paths? The king raised 2 fingers. 1. You return to Earth immediately, and all records of this event will be sealed forever. Ethan considered it a normal life, a safe life. But then the king raised his 2nd finger to you. Stay in Zyther as an official Etherbound guardian, a protector of the royal line. Ethan blinked. "A guardian? I'm not a soldier." Seraphine shook her head. "Guardians are not soldiers. They are stabilizers, advisors, mediators, beings who stand between chaos and order." Ethan swallowed hard. "And if I refuse?" "Both choices," the king said. "Then factions will hunt you, both human and Zytheran. Your ability cannot remain unaligned." Silence fell. Ethan looked at the princess, the one he accidentally saved. Not a romantic bond, not destiny chosen by emotion, but a responsibility formed by circumstance, science, and impossible resonance. He finally nodded. "I'll stay, not because I understand all this, but because someone tried to start a war using me, and I'm not running away." Seraphine bowed her head respectfully. "Then welcome Ethan Hale, Guardian of Zyther." The king extended his hand. "And may your existence mark the beginning of an age where our species walk forward, not as enemies, but as allies." Ethan took his hand. At that moment, the palace walls shifted. From deep indigo to brilliant gold, the color of renewal, and deep within Ethan's chest, the dormant energy that once scared him, now felt like purpose. He wasn't supposed to be there, but sometimes destiny wasn't chosen, sometimes it was accidentally. Touched. The weeks after Ethan accepted his role as Guardian of Zyther were filled with unceasing activity. He trained with Princess Seraphine, learning how their resonances interacted, how to protect the palace and stabilize energy flows without drawing unwanted attention. Every gesture, every step, was analyzed for potential threats. The Pure Blood Syndicate remained hidden, but their presence was felt through whispers, coded messages, and subtle interference. Ethan walked through halls of the palace, observing guards, nobles, and scholars, all aware that one human held power capable of altering the balance of Zytheran society. He learned to predict hostile energy patterns, mediate conflict through resonance, and stabilize emotional chaos without causing disturbance. Every interaction was a monitoring, and every gesture was interpreted as both sign of trust and possible threat. One midnight, while reviewing resonance patterns in a private chamber, Ethan felt a shadow move quickly toward him. A hooded figure lunged with a crystalline blade shining red in the ambient light. Instinctively he extended his hand, channeling prime resonance. Energy flowed from him through floor and walls, pulsing with silver light. The surge flung the intruder back into a shielded corner. Guards stormed in, subduing the attacker before any further harm could occur. Seraphine appeared beside him, her energy glowing stronger than ever. "You are still learning." Ethan shuffled but nodded. "Yes, but I will protect." Her in the palace, she gave a light smile approvingly. Political alliances shifted rapidly as Ethan used his resonance to mediate conflicts between warring factions, his presence becoming a symbol of balance and hope. Yet he felt the weight of history pressing down on him. The Pure Blood Syndicate remained a danger, lurking in shadows awaiting mistakes. Ethan spent day and night training, adapting, and understanding how to use his abilities both for healing and stabilization, Seraphine observed, and guided him. Every touch, whether accidental or intentional, amplified energy flow through Zyther. She whispered, "You are becoming what the legends called the Etherbound Guardian." The king approached him one evening. "Ethan Hale, your training has just begun. The balance of Zyther and Earth now rests not just on alliances, but on your ability to stabilize chaos and strengthen our bond." Ethan nodded, feeling the gravity of his responsibility. He was no longer just a visitor or witness. He was guardian, protector, and unifier of two lives and two worlds. Assassins might still lurk in the courtyard, and political factions could shift instantly, but Ethan felt prepared. His presence alone began to stabilize energies and fear throughout the palace. The palace walls glowed with intersecting light lines from the Cryon stones, reflecting his resonance and marking the beginning of a new age of understanding between humans and Zytherans. Ethan took a deep breath, realizing that what had started as accidental touch and miracle healing had now become the foundation of hope and balance. In this moment, he understood destiny was not always chosen. It could be accidental, but it could also be turned into purpose and power. Ethan Hale, Etherbound, guardian of the Zytheran royal line, stood ready to face any challenge, protect any life, and unify two species with a resonance that was both human and ancient Zytheran.